How much stuff has been revealed over the last couple months about Sonic Racing CrossWorlds. It's kind of disappointing in some aspects, but some aspects I really do like. So, here today, I want to make my own dream roster. I'm just going to take the free characters and the season pass and just completely shove that aside. Maybe make my own rules along the way too. We'll have to wait and see. I do want to hear your guys' dream rosters down in the comment section below. You don't have to follow my rules, just say who you want in the game. But before we get into that though, if you don't know who I am, hi, I'm Sackboy. I do Sonic news, reviews, and sometimes video essays. If you could, please like and subscribe, because we're trying to reach 4,000 subscribers whenever we do that, and the likes will help me on the algorithm. Also, I live stream every Saturday at 11 AM PST and 2 PM EST. Please come check it out, we always do so much fun. Alright, let's set some ground rules. Everyone who is in the current season pass and the free characters stays. Like, I'm not going to change that, I'm not going to, like, add more people, I'm not going to, like, erase people. Like, if you guys like the Minecraft stuff, you like the SpongeBob stuff, you like TMNT, Avatar, Miku, Ichiban, or Joker, like, they're all still here. Don't worry, I'm just not going to acknowledge them, but they will all still technically be here to some extent, so don't worry. So let's just get into the free characters, because I feel like this is what encapsulates most of the thumbnail. So let's just get straight into it. First of all, we have Crash Bandicoot. I feel like this shouldn't have to be explained. Crash Bandicoot has a couple of kart racers of his own, and obviously, I feel like a lot of people have wanted a Crash and Sonic collaboration. They're kind of like in the same space in terms of like their popularity. Maybe Sonic a little bit more so, mostly because of the movies and how well his games have been doing recently. But yeah, I feel like this would be a really cool thing. I've always wanted to see a Sonic and Crash Bandicoot crossover ever since I've learned about Crash Bandicoot with the Insane Trilogy remaster. So, yeah, I feel like this is like a really good pick and someone I would definitely want for CrossWorlds. By the way, I'm also not tied to anything being specifically a Sega Atlas franchise or let's say Paramount franchise here. I have full free reign to pick whoever I want, whenever I want. And I know a lot of the free characters come with vehicles, so I'll just give Crash his kart from the previous kart racers he's been in. The next one we have here is purely based on something I've been enjoying recently, and it's Dr. Gregory House from House MD. Now, obviously, this is an insane one. I don't feel like they'd put actual people alongside the Sonic characters in an actual context of the game, but here, I just want him in because I really like the show. I've been liking the show for a couple of months now, and it's honestly just really fun. I really like the dynamics between all the characters. Obviously, I feel like I'm going to have to give him his motorcycle that appears in the first 3 seasons, because, well, no duh, that's kind of his iconic vehicle. The next one we have here is Freddy Fazbear. Now, none of these are jokes, by the way. These are all people who I would actually, like, unironically like to see in CrossWorlds, and what I'd give him is just like a Faz car that appeared in a Security Breach, or whatever those things are called. The next one is Pac-Man with his... This section was filmed over a month before the Gamescom reveal. I legitimately have no clue how I actually predicted Pac-Man was coming to the game, except it wasn't in the capacity that I thought it would. It's a season pass item instead of a free character, but I'll take it regardless. Pac board, I don't really know how to, like, tell you guys what it is. It would be an Extreme Gear. It would look something like this from the Pac-Man in his Ghostly Adventures show, which they had Extreme Gear in that show. That's weird. Anyway, it would look something like that. I wish he kind of got a track alongside that too. Maybe something along the lines of what appeared in, like, the games. Anyway, the next one we have here is Rayman. Now, again, I've always wanted to see a Sonic and Rayman crossover, so for him to be in here, I think would be really cool. And we've finally seen him in a newer 3D context with the Mario and Rabbids games, so I feel like that would be a really cool thing to just bring him in from there. And I'd probably just give him a custom Extreme Gear, like, I don't know, like floating 2 little things, could be his hands or something. Like, who knows really. Whatever they'd give him, I'd be fine with. Next one we have here is Green Lantern, and the vehicle I'd give him is probably something made by his ring, whether it be a car or an Extreme Gear, so yeah. I'm not sure if I'd go with Jon Stewart or Hal Jordan or Guy Gardner. Maybe not Guy Gardner, but it's between John and Hal, so pick of those two if you will. The next one we have here is Iron Man. We got a lot of superheroes on this one, and I would make like an iron car, like something that's made out of the Iron Man suit materials, just like make that into a car. I don't know if that'll like actually exist in the Marvel comics or anywhere else in the Marvel universe, but or multiverse now. But I feel like it would be pretty interesting. I would like to see him in there, maybe voiced by Nolan North or whoever voiced him recently in the Avenger game. By the way, all of these characters would have voices, and if I was to go with Hal Jordan for Green Lantern, it would be Nathan Fillion, baby, let's go! Speaking of Nathan Fillion, next we have John Nolan and his police car. Now, if you don't know who that is, it's from The Rookie, another show I've really been enjoying. I can't wait for season, what are we on, 8? Yeah, we're on 8, season 8. Maybe? I don't know. Whatever season's coming next, I'm really excited for it. Not really much to say about that. Maybe another character could be added too alongside it, like Tim, but I'm not exactly sure. Next one we have here is Captain America and the motorcycle. I know, I'm really trying to justify the motorcycles here. But, and the last video too. But, yeah, I feel like this is another safe bet. Like, you'll see why I'm adding these superhero characters where they are at in specific sections when we get to the season pass stuff. But, I feel like this is another really cool one that I would definitely play. My dad would definitely play alongside me. He'd probably always choose Captain America and his motorcycle. That one is for you, Father. This one is specifically for you, that Captain America. I know you love him. This last one's kind of silly, but I'm gonna go with Greg Heffley and the family van. Like, again, my list. You can't be mad at any of these because it's my list. You can have your own. But I could definitely see that happening. Like, I don't know how they do that, whether they put him in the back with a bunch of luggage, like in the long haul, or if they put him in front with like the rest of the Heffley family driving. You know, who knows? I have no clue. We will have to wait and see. Say we'd have to wait and see as if this is actually happening, dude. I'm so silly. But you know, imagine if it actually did happen now. That would be really funny. Alright, that is pretty much all of the free characters, so let's get into the season pass. Here's where we get more characters from the thumbnail. Pack 1 would include, by the way, each pack is going to include 2 characters, 1 track, and 1 stage, just like the normal season pass ones. Anyway, Pack 1 includes Lightning McQueen and Tow Mater, as well as Radiator Springs as a track, and Mac with his trailer as the vehicle. Now, I've been kind of workshopping this over the past couple of days. Like, how would I do that? Like, that would be a really long car and give them a lot of opportunity, like, crush other players. But, maybe they could have, like, a skin for Lightning and Mater. Just make him, like, stock as the base character and then have, their, actual, like, wraps be the cars, you know? I don't really know. But then Mater couldn't have his car. Who knows? Whatever. I just hope that would happen in some way. That would be like the best thing ever, because I really like the Cars franchise, except for Cars 2. Cars 2 sucks! Pack 2 would include Marty McFly and Dr. Emmett Brown, and the track being Hill Valley. If they want to do like some time travel stuff with that, I'm cool with that. And the DeLorean, obviously, is the vehicle. This would be so cool. I wish like more Back to the Future stuff would be represented in other media. Like, that would be so cool. This is probably the one I want to have the most. I love Back to the Future. I love everything that they were able to capture within those 3 movies. Except for the third one. The third one's kind of iffy for me. But, yeah, I just really hope it happens. I really like Back to the Future, the game, too. The next one we have here is Spider-Man and Venom, and they'd obviously have New York to play around in. And they'd have the Spider-Mobile as a vehicle. This one's just silly, but I really like silly right now. So, yeah, I also really like Spider-Man. If you tilt the camera, you will see that it's my second hyper obsession behind Sonic. Not nearly as much so, obviously, but, yeah. I don't even know if you guys could see it. Could you see it? There we go. The next one we have here is Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader, and they'd play around Tatooine, obviously. Now, here's where we get to the first little thing that kind of breaks the rules. I would have both an X-Wing and a TIE Fighter. Mostly because they both need their vehicles, so I'm willing to kind of like bend the rules if it makes sense for both characters to have a distinct vehicle. Like, Darth Vader probably wouldn't ride around in an X-Wing. Maybe he would. We don't really know. The next one we have here is Batman and Superman. They'd run around in Metropolis, and they would have the Batmobile. Obviously, again, Superman doesn't really have like his specific vehicle, as far as I'm aware. So, we're just gonna have to stick with the Batmobile. But Metropolis makes sense for me personally, mostly because we see Batman more there than we see Superman in Gotham. So, that just makes sense to me. The next pack we have here is pack number 6, Mega Man and Proto Man. If you guys Sonic fans should know them because they were in the crossover stuff with Sonic and Mega Man. I actually have the complete thing right over there. You guys remember him, right? Anyway, where they would run around at is Wily Castle. I feel like that would be a pretty good one. Vehicle would be Rush. He would act as Extreme Gear, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, here's an image of Rush in his flying form. That is very clearly supposed to be like Extreme Gear, so come on guys, can we just say that that's Extreme Gear? The next pack is pack 7. Now if you watched the last video, I said that I would try to replace this with something else in reference to the Toy Story one. This is the one. Now who I included here is Goku and Vegeta from Dragon Ball. And they would be on Training Island. I had to look up so much stuff to find like a perfect course for them to be on. But I decided to go with Training Island. Look that up, because I don't know what it really is either. Anyway, and then they used the Flying Nimbus as Extreme Gear, obviously. That would be really cool. Pack 8, another one of my recent like obsessions. I might be a little bit autistic now that I think about it. Anyway, one of my recent obsessions is How to Train Your Dragon. And obviously I would go with Hiccup and Astrid as the main characters, as well as Burke being their place of on the track, as well as Toothless and maybe Stormfly as well. It makes sense for both of them to be riding Toothless and Astrid to be riding Stormfly, but I feel like I would like to have both dragons in there, but if I could only go with Toothless, I would choose Toothless as well. I think Toothless and Stormfly would act as Extreme Gear, I think mostly because they could keep off the ground the entire time with their wings, but I don't know how that would happen with like the collision and everything. Who really knows? But I would still like to see them in there as Extreme Gear. Pack number 9, second to last, would include Deadpool and Wolverine, and they would have a track in the void as well as driving a Honda Odyssey. Now they wouldn't say it's a Honda Odyssey, mostly due to copyright, but it would certainly look like a Honda Odyssey. Okay, so the last pack that we have for this was a really big one. I was originally going to go with Omni-Man and Invincible, but I couldn't justify a location nor a vehicle, so I just decided to scrap it. So I ended up going with Scott Pilgrim and Ramona Flowers, and their track would be based in Toronto, Canada, and they would just have it custom Extreme Gear because I know Scott is a fan of the Sonic franchise. So yeah, that is pretty much every single thing that I wanted if I had to stick to this. So yeah. Now some of you may have noticed that there wasn't any Sonic characters on this list. What's the deal with that? I'll let you know now. I've made a previous comment in a live stream saying that in a perfect world, Sega would do this. They would make a non-Sonic pass with a bunch of different characters from different franchises that aren't Sonic, and they would also have a Sonic pass, which would include a bunch of Sonic characters, a bunch of Sonic vehicles, a bunch of Sonic locations. You know, for the Sonic fans who want to get that, more Sonic the better, right? I'm not sure like how sustainable this would have been, but I would have done 2 season passes. I would have done a CrossWorlds pass, and I would have done a Sonic Legacy pass, where you had different Sonic characters and different Sonic locations being in there, and then you could have all of the crossover elements of CrossWorlds being in its own separate pass, that if people want to get that, they could get that, or if they want to get both, you get the Sonic Racing CrossWorlds full pass, or something like that. What I've described to you guys throughout this entire video was the non-Sonic pass. What you are going to see next time in part 2 is the Sonic pass. Now, some of you may have been able to read that. I hope not, because the blur should have been really good there. But, yeah. Next video is going to be part 2, so make sure you stick around for that. Let me know what you guys think about all this down in the comment section below, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.